Hey, y'all. I'm Jen.
And I'm Em.
And welcome to Am I Haunted Era?
Podcast where we talk about all things spooky or strange. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for being here. We love that you are listening, and we love doing this.
Yeah.
And it's a Monday, and...
But I think the leaf blower guy is gone.
The leaf blower guy is now gone. Yeah. We record 2 episodes together. So we do one episode, take a little break, and then come back and record another episode. So we record like every other week. And so if you listen to the last episode, we're still in that same time. It's still the same time for us. And thank God the leaf blower man or woman or them, because it's Pride Month.
Yes, happy Pride.
Okay. Well, shall we dig in?
Yeah, what are you covering?
Today, we're talking about the Pollock Twins' Reincarnation. Have you ever heard of this?
No. Hard no.
Well, buckle up, because today we're traveling back to the mid-1900s England for a case that has fascinated believers and skeptics alike for more than 6 decades. This isn't a ghost story, at least not in the traditional sense. Okay. No creaking floorboards or phantom footsteps here. What we have instead is a case that challenges the very boundaries of identity and memory. And today we ask, can a soul be reborn? And if it can, would it remember who it used to be? This is the story of the Pollock Twins, a tale of loss, belief, uncanny memories, and one of the most studied reincarnation cases in the modern Western world. I know, I love reincarnation cases. So, let's begin in 1950s England in the small town of Hexham in Northumberland, a market town not far from Hadrian's Wall. None of those things geographically help me locate where Hexham is, but I believe somebody somewhere might be able to make sense of that. But yeah, so it's the kind of quiet, insular place where news travels fast and tragedy lingers long. John and Florence Pollock were raising their family here, devout Catholics, owners of a small grocery business, and parents to 2 daughters, Joanna, who was 11, and Jacqueline, who was 6.
They like their
Joanna,
J's.
I know, we got the J's going.
Gosh, something flew in my eye. I'm so sorry.
No.
It's okay.
Get your life together.
I can't.
I can't.
I've literally tried. I'm not a doctor.
It's not happening. I've given up.
Keep going.
Joanna, the elder sister, was known for being outgoing, protective, and curious, very much a firstborn. And Jacqueline, on the other hand, was quieter, affectionate, and sometimes a little clingy. She had a small scar on her forehead from a fall and a birthmark low on her waist, just above her left hip. These would become important details later, but in 1957, they were just 2 happy little girls navigating childhood in a sleepy English village. But everything changed on Sunday, May 5th, 1957. It was a bright spring morning. The girls were walking to church with their friend Anthony Layden, a local boy. They were excited, dressed in their Sunday best, eager for the service. But as they walked down the road, a woman named Marjorie Wynn, a local who had recently suffered a mental breakdown, deliberately drove her car onto the pavement. All 3 children were killed instantly.
Oh, God. I was going to be like, when you said Marjorie had a mental breakdown, I was like, oh, girl, same. That's a Tuesday.
Same.
But
that's
never.
Just a Tuesday.
I just watched Bluey.
I know. So allegedly, Marjorie had lost custody of her own children and was by all accounts deeply unstable. Later during her court appearance, it had become clear she had been suicidal. I read somewhere that she had taken like a lot of pills and was like trying to attempt suicide. So I don't know if she steered into them on purpose or she was on a lot of drugs and that was the point. She happened to veer off the road at that point. Nobody really knows. It's still debated whether the crash was an accident, a psychotic break, or a deliberate act of violence, but the result was the same. Joanna and Jacqueline Pollock were dead. Florence was inconsolable. She fell into a deep depression. John, though devastated, was consumed by a strange certainty, one that puzzled even Florence. He told friends and family that the girls would return, not metaphorically, literally. This wasn't just his grief speaking. John Pollock had held an interest in reincarnation long before the tragedy. He had read spiritual texts, studied accounts of Eastern religions, and even corresponded with people who had reported past life experiences. Despite his Catholic background, he believed that the soul could and did reincarnate. Florence, devout and deeply rooted in her faith, did not share this belief, at least not at first. About a year after the accident, Florence became pregnant again. The couple's doctors advised against it, both for emotional and physical reasons. Florence had suffered immensely after the girls' deaths, and another pregnancy, especially under the shadow of grief, seemed like a dangerous choice. But John insisted that this pregnancy would bring their daughters back. On October 4th, 1958, Florence gave birth to twin girls, Jillian and Jennifer. This was unexpected. There was no history of twins in either family, and the odds of identical twins being conceived naturally, especially after such trauma, seemed slim. But there they were, two seemingly identical baby girls. Except once again, not quite identical. Jennifer, the younger of the two by 10 minutes, had a birthmark on her waist. It matched the one Jacqueline had. More astonishingly, she had another mark right on her forehead, matching the exact spot where Jacqueline had her scar from a childhood fall.
Stop.
Yep. Twins are genetically identical. Birthmarks and scars shouldn't differ, but here they did, and they aligned with details of a sister Jennifer was never supposed to know. The girls were kept from stories of Joanna and Jacqueline. Florence was adamant about this. She wanted to move forward, not feed what she saw as her husband's dangerous obsession. The family moved away from Hexham when the twins were just a few months old, hoping a new environment would offer a clean slate. But the past, if it was the past, seemed determined to make itself known. By the time Jillian and Jennifer were 3, they began to show behaviors that deeply unsettled their parents, particularly Florence, who had done everything in her power to avoid encouraging anything that could be seen as past life talk. They began identifying toys that had belonged to Joanna and Jacqueline. The toys had been boxed up and stored away out of sight, but the twins called them by name. They knew which toys belonged to which sister. They even argued over them the same way Joanna and Jacqueline used to. Once, when Florence gave Jennifer a toy that had belonged to Jacqueline, Jillian said, "That's not yours, it's mine. Mummy gave it to me." The girls were barely out of toddlerhood. They also developed inexplicable phobias, most notably a fear of cars. If one drove too close, they would scream and cling to their mother, saying things like, "The car is coming to get us," or it's like the car that killed us. These weren't tantrums. They were panicked reactions to things they should have had no context for. And then there were the memories. On a visit back to... Yeah, girl. On a visit back to Hexham when the girls were 4, they began to recognize locations they had never been to before. Yeah. Jillian pointed to a school and said she had gone there. Jennifer identified a park and claimed they used to play on the swings there. Florence had not told them where they were. They didn't tell them they were, like, in the town they used to live in. Like, did not give them that information.
Return them.
Send them back. Up the baby chute. Put them back.
I don't know how I feel yet. Keep going.
I know. Once Jennifer turned to Jillian and said, "That's where the car hit you," pointing to her sister's head. Jillian replied, "Yes, and the blood came out of my eyes." These weren't rehearsed stories. They were snippets of memory or something like it. Enter Dr. Ian Stevenson. Dr. Stevenson was a Canadian-born psychiatrist who became the head of the Division of Perceptual Studies at the University of Virginia. Unlike many paranormal researchers of his time, Stevenson approached reincarnation with scientific rigor. He was known for his meticulous documentation, his refusal to jump to conclusions, and his insistence on verifying every fact possible. His database included over 2,000 cases from around the world. The Pollock case fascinated him because it occurred in a Western country, in a Christian household, and under conditions where no cultural or religious reinforcement of reincarnation existed. This, in his view, reduced the likelihood of suggestibility or social influence. The children had not been coached, and the parents had opposing beliefs. John believed in reincarnation, Florence did not. Stevenson interviewed the family multiple times, visited Hexham, and cataloged every behavioral anomaly and physical mark. He even compared the birthmarks using early photographic analysis techniques to confirm their location and size. He included the Pollock case in his seminal work, 20 Cases Suggestive of Reincarnation, published in 1975. In it, he wrote that the case presented a convergence of physical, behavioral, and memory-based evidence that defied easy explanation. While Stevenson's work was criticized by mainstream psychology for being too speculative, it also earned cautious praise for its attention to detail. He never claimed to prove reincarnation, only that certain cases could not be explained through normal developmental or psychological theories. The Pollock case also draws comparisons to other well-known instances of apparent past life recall, such as the case of Shanti Devi in India or the story of James Leninger, a young boy in Louisiana who described being a World War II pilot. But what makes the Pollock twins especially compelling is how many variables came together. Matching birthmarks, independent memories, phobias, and a complete fading of those memories as the girls aged, a pattern Stevenson documented in many of his subjects. Skeptics, of course, offer alternative explanations. Some argue that the memories could have come from overheard conversations, that the twins, being raised by grieving parents, picked up cues they didn't consciously understand. Others suggest that John, with his strong belief in reincarnation, could have subtly shaped their responses. Still, Florence, the skeptic in the marriage, later admitted that she couldn't explain what she had seen. She had deliberately avoided discussing Joanna and Jacqueline, and yet the twins showed knowledge she believed was impossible for them to have. As the girls grew older, the strange behavior stopped. By age 8, there were no more references to past lives, no more memories. The girls became ordinary children and eventually ordinary adults. In interviews later in life, Gillian said she sometimes had flashbacks to places she had never been, but for the most part, the vivid memories that once defined her childhood faded into something distant and inaccessible. So what are we left with? A story that challenges our assumptions about consciousness, a case that blurs the line between psychology and the supernatural, one that resists simple answers. Whether you see it as proof of reincarnation or a remarkable psychological anomaly, the story of the Pollock twins invites us to keep asking questions. Could our identity span more than one lifetime? And if we could be born again, would we know it? And that's the case of the Pollock twins' reincarnation.
That's wild. So, like,
I know.
You said as they got into adulthood, there were no more.
Yeah. All those memories faded.
Well, yeah.
And that's typical of cases of reincarnation. Like, usually as they get to be like older children. My dog just made a noise that scared the shit out of me. As they get to be older children and like teenagers, adults, those memories are gone. It's usually when they're like in toddlers, early childhood, typically.
That's
so it follows that pattern.
And at that point, they would be making new memories too. Anyway.
Yeah, like, exactly. And those would replace. I mean, not replace, but like take up space. Yeah. I imagine. Yeah, isn't that fascinating? It's wild.
I fully believe in reincarnation. I haven't heard of anything like that like the twins going to the same parents going to, yeah.
I know, right? Because I've heard of other cases of reincarnation where it's like they were able to trace it back to somebody who lived like in another part of the world. Like they were able to find the person and stuff like that. But yeah, for it to be the same two children and the same family and the same life cycle as the parents, like that is so strange. Because I guess I imagine it's like you end up in a totally different time period, right? Like when you're reincarnated, like you're not going to come back in the same generation, and maybe not even the same like species. Like you could come back as an animal. You could. I believe reincarnation more in like you stay as a human. Really? Yeah. But I know there are a lot of religions that believe that you could come back as like a bug or a cow. Yeah. I think I lean more to that, like, because it's like, look at the draw. You never know what you're going to get. Yeah, for sure. And it depends on, like, how you behaved in your previous life. And... Sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting what the different theories and beliefs are about reincarnation. I mean, there's the general belief that's, like, the core of it, that your soul can be reborn. But then it varies wildly after that. Yeah. Have you seen, I just blanked. On Renee Rapp. Oh my God. I was like, have you seen her podcast with, or interview with Amy Poehler? And Amy Poehler asks her if she thinks like I don't know if she asked her if she felt like she had been here before, kind of like a past life theory. And then Renee Rapp goes, fuck no. She's like, I wouldn't come back. And I just thought it was so funny. Because I was like, yeah. Honestly, same. If this level of my soul, if this was the same, because I think you have like a higher soul that stays with you that you can access like through meditation and other things like that. But I think that your personality, like who you are in this life, I don't think that maybe you keep some traits of that perhaps. But yeah, if this person is driving the bus of reincarnation and deciding where I'm going to go next, I ain't coming back. I'm fucking done. Yeah. Or I'm going to be like Taylor Swift's best friend. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'll come back only if Taylor Swift is there in whatever incarnation she is. And I want to be her best fucking friend. No, I ain't coming back here. Fuck this place. Especially right now. Goddamn. Yeah. But so I am talking about
a sleeping sickness that took the world by storm that I've never heard of. And so I'm gonna have a hard time. It's a hard word. Encephalitis lethargica.
Okay, you did it.
So I'm gonna be saying that a lot, and I'm gonna have to be slow about it. But encephalitis lethargica, also known as the sleeping sickness.
I think I have that.
No, because it's scary.
Is it scary? I'm like, I'm so sleepy.
Look, hold on. Do we have a chat that I can send you?
There's a chat. Yeah, it's on the right part of the screen.
Oh,
you see under the people.
Okay, just look up some pictures. It's very scary. Okay, and then while you're doing that, I'm going to talk about it.
Okay.
Okay, in the early 20th century, the world was reeling from the aftermath of the First World War and the 1918 influenza pandemic.
Okay.
Amid the chaos, a new and terrifying disease began to spread across Europe. Yeah, you saw a picture. Not cute.
What the fuck? I'm looking at like 10 photos and they're all horrifying.
Yeah, so when you were like, I have this, I was like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Like, there's what's the disease where there's narcolepsy and then there's this. So this is bad. The illness, as we're sharing a screen, so it'll record. So it's so scary.
Oh no.
It's so scary.
This is what I opened. I get all of these.
It's so scary.
It's like one horrifying photo after horrifying photo. Jesus, look at this guy.
Oh God.
Poor people.
Oh God.
Jesus H. Christ.
But it's something I never heard about. So
I've never heard, as a nurse, I've never heard of this. So I was, sorry, continue.
I was wondering, I was researching this, so I was wondering, I was like, I wonder if Jen's heard about this since she's like in the medical field.
I've heard of encephalitis, but not this form of it.
Okay. What is encephalitis? Just
inflammation of the brain.
Okay. Oh, okay. So this makes sense. Yeah. Okay. The illness came with symptoms so peculiar and haunting that it became known as sleeping sickness, or more formally, encephalitis lethargica. This epidemic would come to haunt the world for over a decade and remain largely shrouded in mystery, which, because I haven't heard about it. Mm-mm. And I'm a hypochondriac, so.
Yeah. Well, now you've heard about it.
Now I'm like, I have it. Okay. The first documented cases of encephalitis lethargica were reported in 1915 in Romania, but it wasn't until 1917 that neurologist Constantin von Economo? I don't know how you say that in like Romanian, but Economo.
I don't either.
First identified a pattern among the victims. These patients presented a cluster of unusual symptoms, so extreme lethargy, high fever, profound drowsiness, and in some cases, a strange, unexplainable immobility. And so I was reading this, and I was like, oh my God, extreme lethargy? I have that. Sometimes I get a fever if I get really, really tired. And my body's like, you need to shut down, girl. And I was like,
down.
Do I have this? And like drowsiness. I've been at my desk sometimes. I'm like, oh my God, if I don't close my eyes, I'm
a drowsy girl.
So I was like, do I have this? No, I don't.
No.
Just wait. Despite the presence of a fever, these patients were neither conscious nor unconscious. They existed in a twilight zone, neither truly awake nor fully asleep. The condition was puzzling, and Economo's work led to the disease being officially recognized.
What the fuck?
His theory was based on the observation that the disease attacked the brainstem and other regions responsible for controlling vital functions, such as sleep, temperature regulation, and movement. As a result, many victims were unable to move, speak, or respond to external stimuli, slipping into what was described as a stupor-like state. Tragically, some patients did not survive, while others languished in a vegetative state for years.
My God.
So, what started as a series of isolated cases soon spiraled into a global epidemic.
What? That's a horrifying epidemic. I'd rather have Ebola than this. I'd rather be bleeding out my eyeballs than this.
The disease spread rapidly, though its transmission method remained unclear.
Yeah. I was
The
going to ask.
1918 flu pandemic may have played a role in creating conditions that allowed the encephalitis virus to spread more quickly. But
That makes sense.
the exact cause of encephalitis lethargica remains unknown to this day.
Yeah, so is it like viral or bacterial in origin? They have no idea?
They were assuming viral, especially because
Okay.
of like how it would attack like the brainstem and like the nervous system and all that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Had it
I don't
spread
know.
so widespread in the early 1900s. I lost it. Oh, okay. Over the course of the next decade, the disease would infect hundreds of thousands of individuals, and it particularly impacted children and young adults, with reports of victims as young as 5 years old.
No, poor baby.
The true scale of the epidemic is still unknown, with some estimates suggesting that as many as 1 million people may have been affected worldwide.
Wow.
Yeah. I can only hear you out of one ear, and it's really pissing me off.
That's weird.
It happens. These are old, I think.
It's the headphones? Okay.
It's the headphones.
I was I don't know what I can do to fix that.
No, I'm pretty sure these are hand-me-downs from Kevin, too, if I'm being serious.
Oh, really?
Okay, we're back. We're back, baby.
We're back, baby.
And the disease did not discriminate. It attacked people of all ages. Though children and young adults were this is a hard word, proportionately impacted.
I knew what you were going to say.
It's a hard word, and it's a long word.
It is a long word.
It crept silently across Europe, Asia, the United States, and beyond. Never heard of it again. I'll just need a preface. Never heard of it.
No.
Silently sweeping through families, towns, and cities. Many patients fell into a deep, almost comatose state. This was the hallmark symptom of encephalitis lethargica. Those who were affected would experience sudden bouts of extreme lethargy, falling into an almost paralyzed, sleep-like state. But the most unsettling feature of the illness was its unpredictability. The disease came and went without warning. People who were struck by it could either succumb to it immediately or, in the most mysterious cases, fall into a coma-like state for many years, only to awaken inexplicably decades later.
And just be like, yo, what's good?
Yeah,
what's cracking?
So listen, okay, because I get there, but like they know, they're aware. They're aware. Okay, like they are like, obviously in this stupor-like state.
So they're like locked in.
But they were, yeah. It talks about this.
Okay.
The clinical features of encephalitis lethargica were wide-ranging. The symptoms included fever, headache, muscle weakness, and an inability to sleep. Some victims exhibited bizarre eye movements, while others experienced seizures. Some patients would fall into a deep slumber for days or even weeks at a time, only to awaken disoriented and dazed, only to return to an inexplicable state of deep sleep once again. So even if they were out, they could go back in.
Wow. Well, that's scary.
While many victims would pass away from the disease in its early stages, the most unsettling accounts came from those who survived, only to find that they were left in a state of paralysis. These survivors were often left trapped in their own bodies, fully conscious but completely unable to move or communicate.
So they weren't asleep.
Yeah, they just appeared to be, but they were there.
They were just locked in. What the fuck? That's worst nightmare.
And
nightmare
as
scenario.
you can imagine, the resulting psychological toll was immense, as many individuals spent years in this state of near total immobility. I don't know what I'd do. I mean, you couldn't do anything, but...
Yeah, that would be so boring. Can you imagine how boring that would be? Like, how do you not go crazy?
They probably did. Unfortunately, they probably...
And what is it with all the photos? All their mouths look really fucked up. Like, they all got meth mouth.
I don't know if that is a result from, like, not... I mean, a lot of the protections that we have, so, like, blinking of the eyes, breathing in through the nose, like, I wonder if they just really couldn't... They didn't have control over it.
Yeah.
So it kind of talks about this. So perhaps the most eerie element of the epidemic was the phenomenon known as post-encephalactic Parkinsonism.
Oh, that's what these pictures are of then.
Yeah.
Because these people making all these weird faces and stuff, those seem like very Parkinson's-y.
In these cases, individuals who had survived the acute phase of encephalitis lethargica were left with long-term neurological damage that manifested as a Parkinson's-like syndrome.
Oh my
These
gosh.
patients experienced tremors, slow movements, and rigidity. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
But that, yeah.
Yeah.
As the years went by, the symptoms would worsen, but the most haunting part of these cases was the fact that many of the victims, who had been unresponsive for years, suddenly regained movement and consciousness, only to find their bodies severely impaired.
Yeah. I mean, you can't be immobile for that long without, like,
right?
Experiencing extreme muscle wasting.
Yeah.
And, like, even, like, we have patients that we paralyze in the ICU for various reasons, like for breathing and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like the damage that does, even being paralyzed for like a day, a couple days, like it causes an extreme amount of muscle wasting and like rehab afterwards.
Oh my God.
And that's just for a couple days. And this is now in the 21st century, right? Like imagine they had no concept of like doing passive range of motion exercises with these people to keep their muscle strength up. Like they didn't do any of that.
I thought about that. Yeah.
Especially if they're, I mean, I guess also it might have been difficult if the rigidity was also happening. Like, I don't know if that was happening during like in their sleeping phase. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how, if their bodies were rigid then it'd be really hard to do any kind of passive range of motion.
Yeah.
Wow.
This was crazy to me. So one of the most famous cases of awakening came in the late 1960s.
Oh.
I feel like the late 1960s.
That recent.
Yes. Isn't that wild?
That's crazy. And how long were they under?
So this one, okay, I don't know. But when neurologist Oliver Sacks encountered a group of patients who had been in a catatonic state for decades. So they had been that way for decades. Sacks' work with the patients at a New York hospital is documented in his 1973 book, Awakenings. The patients, who had been in a virtual vegetative state since the 1920s, were treated with the drug L-DOPA? L-D-O-P-A?
Okay. Yeah, they can give that for Parkinson's patients. Oh. It's like a dopamine.
Oh,
I think
that makes sense. Well, miraculously, them woke
is
up.
The problem.
So I don't know how long they were treated with that, but or if it had any impact on how they woke up. But however, their return to consciousness was bittersweet as they were left with severe motor impairments.
Yeah.
So 40 years, 1920 to 1960.
It's like almost like just kill me.
I know. Like half your life would be 40 years? People are lucky to make it to 80, so imagine. Anyway, this is sad. This is getting me sad. I'm going to have nightmares.
No.
These patients, once frozen in time, were now trapped in bodies that betrayed them. Their movements jerky and uncontrollable, their minds aware but unable to respond to their surroundings as they wished.
Well, that sucks.
And one of the most baffling aspects of encephalitis lethargica was its sudden and inexplicable disappearance. By 1926, the disease began to subside as quickly as it had spread. Cases of encephalitis lethargica were dwindled dramatically, and the epidemic all but ended by the early 1930s. No one could explain why the disease had vanished. Some speculated. Some speculated. God damn it. Some speculated that the virus responsible for the condition had mutated, becoming less, like, violent, I guess, or less, like,
virulent. Yeah.
While others believed that mass immunization or an environmental change may have contributed to the decline.
Maybe.
So despite its sudden disappearance, the impact of the epidemic remained felt for decades, obviously. Researchers were left with more questions than answers, and the memory of the epidemic remained a chilling chapter in medical history.
Damn.
So, to this day, the cause remains one of the most perplexing medical mysteries. While most experts believe the disease was viral in origin, no definitive virus has ever been identified as the cause. Some have suggested that the disease could have been triggered by a virus similar to one responsible for influenza, while others speculate it was caused by a neurotropic virus that affected the brainstem. Another theory suggests that encephalitis lethargica could have been a form of encephalitis caused by autoimmune response, triggered by previous infection. So
that's true. Because that seems autoimmune related. Like it's attacking. Yeah, I mean, that could make sense.
There have been cases in which survivors of the disease exhibited symptoms of other neurological disorders, adding weight to the idea that the epidemic could have been linked to a larger, still unknown disease mechanism.
Huh.
In recent years... go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. In recent years, The story of encephalitis lethargica has inspired renewed interest.
Yeah.
It remains a topic of fascination not only for the medical professionals, but for those intrigued by the eerie and unexplained aspects of medical history.
Yeah.
The very concept of an illness that silences the body, trapping the mind inside, speaks to some of our deepest fears of being lost, forgotten, or imprisoned within ourselves. I am so sorry, everybody. I, too, will be having nightmares if it makes you feel better. So, yeah, the legacy of encephalitis lethargica is not just one of medical history, but one of psychological horror.
Yeah.
Survivors who awakened were often left with profound sense of loss, as they were unable to return to the life that they had once known.
Yeah.
Many were left isolated in their immobile bodies, while others struggled with the consequences of having been in a stupor for years. The disease's sudden and mysterious disappearance, the eerie awakenings, and the enduring mystery surrounding its origins have made encephalitis lethargica a subject of fascination. For some, the thought of being trapped in their own body, aware yet unable to communicate or move, remains a terrifying concept. Bingo.
Bingo.
And in a way, the epidemic serves as a chilling reminder of how little we understand about the human body and the mind, and how vulnerable we all are to the unknown. That, I think, is what freaks me out the most. It's like...
Yeah.
Like,
we don't know anything about it.
We don't. But also there's so much we don't know about, like, the brain or women's health or, you know, like, what is perimenopause? And it's, there's just so much. And it's so terrifying. And, yeah, it's just a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Do you have therapy soon, or?
I have it Thursday.
Okay, good. I have a feeling you're going to need it.
Yeah, I gotta make a journal entry.
That's so funny. Yeah, that's so insane. And I wonder if it was related to the flu epidemic, or I guess that was a pandemic at that point.
Was also the Spanish flu around that time?
Yeah, that was like 1918.
So maybe that's 1918 to 1919. Okay, so maybe,
All right, here's my rules. If I get encephalitis lethargica and you refuse to pull the plug on me, first of all, pull the plug. I don't care if there is a chance I will come back and be normal. Just, I don't want to do that. Like, don't leave me like that. But if you refuse to pull the plug because you're a little pussy bitch, then what you're going to do, Real Housewives in New York City, constantly play all the new episodes of every Real Housewives franchise as they air. I want to be involved. Taylor Swift, anything new about Taylor Swift, you better fucking tell me.
Yeah.
You better fucking tell me about it. You got to come sit next to me and read the Twitter.
Just show me the pictures of her and Travis. Just hold it up. Oh,
yeah.
See
Open my eyelids and show me the pictures.
Show me pictures of my dog.
Show me pictures of my kids. Just, you know, if you refuse to let me leave this earth, this is what I will require, and I will put this in a medical document if it means anything.
Hope you enjoy your nightmares.
Hope you enjoy your nightmares that M caused.
Sorry.
I mean, mine was very pleasant, and then yours just really took us down a dark place. And Google encephalitis lethargica and look at the images. And if you didn't have nightmares tonight, look those up tomorrow, and then let us know what happened.
Sweet dreams, everybody.
Sweet fucking dreams. But yeah, so thank you guys for listening. If you liked us, please give us a rating and a review on whatever platform you're listening on. That would mean a lot to us. And
send us your spooky stories to share.
Yes, send us your spooky stories.
You can email us or DM us. Our TikTok and Instagram is In My Haunted Era, and our email is inmyhauntederapod@gmail.com. Send your stories, send your family stories. We'll read them.
We'll read them. We want to dedicate a whole episode to it. So just shoot them our way, and we will read them. We'll change names. We'll do whatever.
Yeah, if you want to remain discreet. Anonymous, it's like is it Dumois on Instagram?
Yeah,
be like Anon, please. You can be like Anon, please.
Anon, please. So just let us know. And thank you guys. We'll see you guys next week, and we'll haunt you later. Bye.
Bye.